I'm Caroline, for those of you I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet. I'm Partnership and Engagement Manager at Enactus UK, and have been responsible for kind of managing, organising this employability fair, which Amazon are joining us on today. So very exciting. As we're waiting for everybody to get in, I would love to take this opportunity to kind of remind you to follow us on social media. It is the best way to find out all of our events and opportunities that are coming up. So please do take the time now before we get started to just make sure you're following us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Your choice is all yours, but it'd be great to see you on there. Okay, so this session is kind of, obviously I'm going to pass over to Amazon because you are not here to listen to me today. However, we would love you to be part of the Enactus network, where you'll be able to get access to talks like this and to really delve into what Enactus is all about. So Amazon are one of our 17 corporate sponsors of kind of leading brands in the UK and internationally. But you also get official recognition as an Enactus student, and what that unlocks is a lot of fast-track opportunities as a graduate, a lot of development opportunities, and access to coaches and mentors from our 17 corporate organisations to really kickstart your career and develop yourself for when you are ready to enter the world of work. So please do head to enactusuk.org/join to be part of our network. Okay, so Enactus, unlike a lot of societies at university, doesn't really say what it does on the tin. But what we are, if you aren't already part of the network, we're the UK's leading combined youth social action and youth social enterprise charity, which is a bit of a mouthful. But what that means in practice is that we try to be the bridge between the world of work and the world of higher education to really help you as students develop skills that will benefit you when you kickstart your graduate career. And how we do that is through working with over 65 universities across the UK and their students to develop student-led projects which benefit their local communities and also address one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We don't have time to go into some of the projects today, but I would recommend you head to our YouTube channel where we can get a great insight into some of the incredible projects that are taking place across the UK at the minute, and a fantastic thing again to put on your CV. We always find that Enactus students join for one of three reasons. That is to develop their opportunities for their employability skills and their CV, to make a difference to their local community, and also to make friends. But even if you join Enactus for one reason, you'll leave having gained all three. So I would really recommend, if you aren't already joining us, then please do, because we'd love to have you as part of our network. So please do head to enactusuk.org/join if I've convinced you, and we'll also have a bit of an opportunity later which I can send information to you about to fully deep dive into what Enactus UK is. But for now, my 5 minutes are up and I will pass over to the people that you are actually here for, Abs and Shah. So Abs, if I stop screen sharing, I'll let you take over.
Perfect, thanks Caroline. Let me know if you guys can see the screen. You've got that there. Perfect. Yeah. Hey everyone, thanks for your time. Appreciate you joining us here at the end of the day. So today we just want to talk to you a little bit about how you can use your network effectively. Hopefully go away with some tips on how to really make the most of the network you already have. And you'll probably find, if you take a look, there's a lot more people in your network than you may have realized. So just to get us started, just introduce yourself. So I'm Abs. I used to be part of Enactus Surrey when I was a student, and I worked for Enactus UK for a couple of years as well before joining Amazon. I work in our Prime Video team within marketing, so I look after marketing campaigns, things like banners and videos you may see on primevideo.com or on the app. There'll be a whole host of campaigns that I work on each month. And really that's across multiple European countries. So it's quite a cool role. I get to work on lots of interesting movies and shows. And I'll introduce you as well to Charlotte.
Yep, so I'm Shah. I am a brand specialist in the total consumer electronics category. So I sit within Amazon retail. I specifically work with like PCs, so laptops and monitors, that sort of thing. I was part of Enactus Nottingham from 2016 to 2019. And I'm currently an Enactus coach for Enactus Warwick. So hello to any of you that are from that team, as well as still mentoring some of the Nottingham students. So my role is mainly sort of like an account manager, looking after different brands within my category to help them during deals periods, reach out to people like Abs but in retail for marketing support, and overall, yeah, project management and growth.
So I'm sure a lot of you will have heard of us before. If not, you've heard of us now. So just a really quick overview on Amazon. Our mission ultimately is to be Earth's most customer-centric company. We are extremely customer obsessed and focused in everything that we do. We try and build all our products and services around the best way we can possibly serve our customers. And that's how we build our business. That's where we focus all our activity, and is really the starting point for anything at all that we do here at Amazon. And we've got a lot of business teams. I'm not going to read them all out, but you can see there everything from, I'm in Prime Video. A lot of you are probably familiar with Prime Shipping, but we have our devices as well, such as the Echo devices, Kindle, Fire TV, both in terms of tablets, sticks, and on some televisions, the TV software, AWS, and Alexa, which you may have as well, our AI cloud-based assistant. So very, very broad in terms of the areas and industries that we cover. And of course, we are global as well.
So today's session is obviously, as you can tell from the title of it, is about networking and utilising the people that may already be in your network or that you are seeking by attending events such as this. And to start off with, to kind of make an Amazon spin on it, we thought we'd take you through some of Amazon's leadership principles. So originally Amazon had 14 leadership principles. And you can see here that there are 2 new ones at the bottom. So strive to be the Earth's best employer and success and scale bring broad responsibility. And these have come as time has gone on. And the way that Amazon works, whilst it's still a day one mentality, most of the team still have very much startup mentality, and the way that we approach things is actually very similar to how you approach your Enactus projects. But there's also other things in terms of sustainability and being like a conscious employer that have come over time. So obviously, Abs mentioned customer obsession. Sorry, still go through some of those. Invent and simplify. Some of those things are very similar to what you do in Enactus. So thinking of your beneficiaries, or if you're in commercial ventures, focusing on who your USP is. Invent and simplify. Things like Ecologico, who are creating a food that is going to create less methane when cows eat it, things like that. So they're simplifying and inventing and creating. But when it comes to thinking about networking, things that you consider when we look at the leadership principles is obviously characteristics you want to have. So bias for action, reaching out to people, taking action, having clear action plans off the back of meetings, earning trust, creating these strong relationships, and then those latter 2 new leadership principles. So yeah, Abs, if you can now go to the next slide. So just want to talk you through these 2 new ones, because if you're someone who's applied for internships at Amazon before, you may not have heard of these. They've kind of only been implemented in the last year or so. So its definition is here on the slide. Not usually one to read things out, but I will just so it's super clear. So leaders work every day to create a safer, more productive, higher performing, more diverse and more just work environment. Leaders have to ask themselves, are my fellow employees growing? Are they empowered? Are they ready for what's next? They have a vision for for and commitment to their employees' personal success, whether that be at Amazon or elsewhere. And the reason we wanted to highlight this one to you is obviously because when we're thinking about creating our network, we want to be not only thinking about it from a personal sense of, okay, who do I need in order to take the next steps in my career or to better myself or to get that personal development, but also who is going to allow me to support my team. If you're a team lead or a project lead, who is going to be able to further my project and benefit more beneficiaries. So that's why we kind of wanted to look at this one. And then the next thing. So off the back of that, we have a lot of affinity groups at Amazon. And we wanted to point this out just because wherever you end up at work, there will always be people who are like you, like-minded, whether that be from a social enterprise perspective and passionate about helping people, or that be from the same community and background you are. So just to name a few, we've got Glamazon, they're LGBTQ+. We have Warriors, which is for people who have been in the military, women in finance, women's art in general, Latinos, Asians, the BN. So a lot of different communities that you can find and build your own personal network for wherever you as a person stand. Cool. Next slide, please.
Just quickly, we of course have an Enactus group, which probably should have put on there. So Charlotte and I driving that. Fred is somewhere on the call. You get a chance to speak to him at the end as well. And our business coaches, we're all part of that Enactus affinity group at Amazon.
Yeah. Also worth saying that we will have some Q&A at the end. So if any of you think of questions either related to this session or about Amazon in general, please put them in the chat box as you think of them, and we will use that as a base for the Q&A at the end of the session. So cool. Going on to the other leadership principle we wanted to talk about. So that's success and scale bring broad responsibility. So we started in a garage, we're not there anymore. For those of you who don't know, Amazon started in Jeff's garage. There's often this culture of door desk culture where a lot of their desks were built off a couple legs and some old doors. So that startup culture of kind of building your own office. We are big, we impact the world, and we're far from perfect. We must be humble and thoughtful even about the secondary effects of our actions. The communities, the planet, the future generations need us to be better every day. We try to do this for our customers, employees, partners, and the world in general. Leaders create more than they consume and always leave things better than how they found them. So obviously, when we link this back to Enactus, we think of the Sustainable Development Goals, and obviously this is kind of where this leadership principle is rooted in, about responsible consumption and production, building better industry. You could probably name another 6 or 7 SDGs. This is all about sustainability and being conscious in the actions that we take. And when we link that to networking, we want to be making the right decisions for us, for our businesses, for the future of our businesses. So I'm going to partner with the council. How am I going to maintain that relationship? So one, in the future, if I need Carol to help me get a job in the future and I need a great reference, she'll be there, but that Carol will support Claire, who is the upcoming project leader, and that the relationship doesn't end with me. How we make those relationships sustainable is something that we always need to consider when we do handovers. Now we're at the beginning of midway through the Enactus year, but beginning of the academic year, but we do already have to be thinking of how do we make these relationships long and lasting. Myself, Abs, Fred have been engaged in Enactus for a long time. Fred definitely more so, very well versed, and he keeps how does the teams that he work with keep their partnerships? That's a great point to think about. How do you maintain your relationships with the right stakeholders so that they will keep coming back? And it's about supporting your team, not just you as well.
Thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, very whirlwind kind of overview, I guess, of Amazon and how we sort of link to Enactus. In terms of this main session, so what we really want to encourage you to do is think about what is the value of your network and who's in it. And this applies on a professional level, whether you're looking much more from a career aspect and how do you move forward in your career, on a personal level, if it's more from a development perspective, but also for your projects and how do you tap into that network to support what you're doing in there as well. So in terms of having network, it's really useful for exchanging ideas and meeting people, which could be anything from learning from other teams at National Expo, could be attending training sessions, could be just having a chat with someone to find out more about how did they do something, how did they overcome this challenge. There's obviously an element of raising your profile, so people know about you, your skills, what you can offer, and get visibility to employers. Getting advice and support, and access to job opportunities, which a lot of you, I think, are now on LinkedIn and using that, and that's where a lot of recruiting and hiring is done these days. It's sort of the discovery place where people find and hear about jobs more and more. But also, you can develop long-lasting relationships. Over the years, I've ended up with some of my best friends I met through Enactus at completely different unis to where I was going, and I'm still in touch with them to this day. I've met, I've got a mentor who I'm still in touch with as well, who's been really useful to help me, and just some really good friends as well. So there's a lot of opportunities there for you to get value from your network and also give some value back to other people that you know. So we're going to get straight into an exercise. So what I'd like you all to think about is who is in your network right now. And there's two elements to your network. You've got your professional network, colleagues you work with, whether it's from part-time work, could be team members in your projects, business advisors, university advisors, lecturers, mentors. And then you've got your personal network, which can be just your friends and family members. And have a think about, okay, of these people, what is it are there anyone in particular you'd like to connect with more on a specific topic? So there are some examples here, very Amazon based, but as an example, let's say you've got Alexa. Alexa is working in artificial intelligence and they're part of your professional network. What do you want to gain from that connection? And perhaps it's because you want to gain an insight into the tech industry and the skills required to succeed. And Alexa's a great person for you to talk to try and get some of that insight. The key thing here is what's the action? So this could be as simple as message them via LinkedIn and request a coffee catch up so you can learn more about them. It could be send them an email this week to explain what you're looking for and organize a call. It could be actually that you're connecting with this person soon already, and that's an opportunity for you to bring that up. So Caroline starts sorting you into the breakout groups. Within those groups, if you each think about 2, maximum 3 people right now within your network that you'd love to connect with more or again, or maybe they're in your network but you haven't really spoken to them or engaged them that much, and what is it that you're trying to achieve? And what we will do, we'll ask, have one person within your group who's willing to share an example. There are quite a lot of you, which is great. So we'll probably pick a couple of groups at random to share back. But yeah, have a little think about this. I know, Charlotte, you had an example of your own that you wanted to share as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so the examples that Abs has given here are pretty clear in terms of the jobs that the people, whether they be in your professional or personal network, they relate to what you want to gain from them. But that might not always be the case. So in instance, I have a formal mentor within Amazon. She also happens to be an Enactus coach, and she is a couple years ahead in her career. And whilst she has a completely different role to me, and it's not a role I'm looking at, so that's not the insight I'm hoping to gain. What I gain from that connection is her to be a sounding board for my worries and fears about my current job, and for her to be that sounding board and ensure that when I need someone to talk through that may not be my manager, she is able to be there and support me in those kind of decision making. So it's a slightly different connection versus she works in marketing, I want to move into marketing, I want her to help me find the right courses to do outside of work in order to move into that area. She's actually more of a mentor role. So that can also be an example to use. You don't necessarily have to think, okay, ERAC, their main relationship is the VPE role, so it has to be to do with that. It can be anything that that person has as a skill that you want to benefit from.
Great, thanks, Charles. So we'll leave this up on the screen as a reference point. Caroline, I'll pass to you just so everyone's organised into groups. Cool. So let's hear from you and see what you've come up with. Let's go with somebody from room 4.
I'll share. Basically, Fred just went through how important LinkedIn is and like how much more important it will be in the future, and like how we should improve our engagement and just like keep records of our like progress and professional journey as we go along.
100%. LinkedIn was really useful for me before I moved into this role, because I was looking at entertainment jobs and obviously I was looking at Amazon. But yeah, there was someone from a former university advisor who introduced me to someone at a studio I shall not name, and they just met me for a coffee and told me about the industry and what kind of skills you need to get into that industry and the kind of roles available. So that was really, really helpful insight. So yeah, if you're not active and up to speed on your LinkedIn, keep it up to date and do use it. You'll find a lot of opportunities come your way and you can connect with a lot of people through that. Cool. Anybody from room 2?
Yeah. So basically adding to Michaela's point, I'm not sure if I spelled her, pronounced it correctly. So yeah, we did discuss about how LinkedIn helps, and we did discuss a few examples. So for example, one of our group mates said she actively liaised with her professor from uni to get recommendations on her dissertation, which she was doing in her master's. So that's a great point. Another team member of our group said he finds like personal relationships allows you to understand the actual ground reality of the companies. So if you're applying for example, Amazon, so sorry, XYZ Corporation. So to understand how exactly the culture is in XYZ Corporation, rather than just the fabricated truth presented by the employers, which usually happens in networking groups. So that was a really good point. And I did suggest that because I'm trying to explore a different industry, I'm quite unaware of it. So I'm trying to go out and network with my university alumni network so that I can understand who are the people working there. And I try to connect with them and understand, is it a suitable industry for me, or is it a good match for my skill set, or is it exactly what I want to do? So yeah, definitely LinkedIn has allowed to do this, but like I feel like all three kind of professional, personal, network type do help you in both kind of ways to get tips and ideas and to grow yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, especially on just trying to understand actually is something that you think is of interest. It's really hard to know if when you pursue it, will it work out? Is it something you really are interested in or not? And sometimes a simple chat with someone can put things into perspective and help you understand what it's really like to work in a finance role or to work in marketing, or you know, what the difference is like working for a charity-based organization versus a huge corporation, because it'll be very different experiences and potentially slightly different skills you need depending on the industry. So thank you for sharing. Let's go with where's Charlotte's group.
Yeah, let's go with, is it Alan? Sorry if I've mispronounced your name. He had a really good example. Sorry if I butchered your name, or if I read it wrong entirely. Is he here?
I think he's still in the waiting room.
There we go.
Hi, my name is Alan. My example was I was trying to learn a new language, Spanish actually, and the part-time job right now I'm working contains almost 8 to 7 people who speaks Spanish really well. Like sometimes I feel like I'm lost because when they talk in Spanish, I'm like, I don't know what they're telling. But since I started learning Spanish and I have these friends, I ask them different doubts. Like some words have different meanings in different contexts. So I'll be asking them a lot of doubts. So I was asking how I can improve them. And Charlotte has asked me to do this thing, to ask them to have a coffee chat just so that you only speak in Spanish and just correct your mistakes and learn from it.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a bit different and a good way to sort of develop your skills as well. Thank you for sharing that one.
Thank you.
We've got a couple of quick other tools we'll just show you, and we'll send you this afterwards as well, so you've got so you can use them, and then we'll go into Q&A. I guess one thing to think about as well is you'll have certain people in your network and you might think, okay, this person works in this industry or this person has this skill set, so let me connect with them to find out more about that. But do also think about who are they connected with, because and LinkedIn is a great example of how you can sort of look that up and see it. But it might be that, okay, you know, you're trying to get some particular insight and you're not quite sure who to go to, but one of your business advisors, you know, they'll have had careers working with different people and they might have a connection. So it's worth asking them, hey, do you happen to know anybody with this skill set or who works in this industry? And they could do an introduction for you to help you along the way. So, you know, do think beyond not just your immediate network, but who else could they introduce you to grow your network? Other different ways you could approach this, which we'll share so you can sort of do if useful. And these you could use for your current network as well as from a project perspective. So the first one is more about tracking your stakeholders over time. So this example shows, you know, on a weekly basis to track. You could do it daily if you want to, or monthly. But looking at, okay, here are the sort of people that are important to our project, let's say. So you've got a program manager, you've got a business advisor, and there may be a potential partner as well. And this is a good way of sort of looking at, actually, am I engaging these people and making an attempt to connect with them? Am I keeping them up to date if that's the objective, or seeking their advice where it's helpful and important to do so? And also to look back and think, oh, you know what, I've followed up with this person quite a few times, they haven't responded. Do I need to change my approach? Am I speaking to the wrong person? So this is a useful exercise to do. I'd recommend all project leaders to try and do something like this. But it's also something you can take forward in your career when you're, you know, working in whatever job it is you're doing or doing your own business. It's something you can use to track your stakeholders and help with your development and see, am I engaging the people that I need to along my journey? So we'll send that template as well if you want to use it. And the last one's a kind of a standard one you'll see in many textbooks and examples and things, is a Racy Matrix, a really good one for project management where there is a lot of stakeholders, a lot of different people who do different activities and have different responsibilities. So a good way to sort of think about, how do we keep track of who's owning which area? So if we look at the second example, who's responsible for setting up a project planning meeting? That could be a specific member of your project team. Who's accountable would be the project leader, who's overall accountable for what happens in the project. And then maybe you're going to consult your business advisor on the timing. You'd like them to be part of it and give you input on the plan. And then afterwards, you might let Enactus UK know that, hey, we had this meeting and this is what we did, and our next steps. So just to give you, you know, a few different ways that you could approach this and look at how you're utilizing your network throughout your time at university and beyond. So I hope that was helpful with the limited time that we did have. Hopefully there's some value in there. As I said, we'll share the templates with you so you can use them as you wish. And that was everything from us for this main session. So, you know, do connect and follow Amazon on our social platforms. We have the Amazon blog, which gives you a lot of insight into the latest news and key developments happening at the organization. And for general sort of job applications or queries about student programs, you've got our amazon.jobs site. So we can go into Q&A. Just invite Fred to introduce himself so you can see him as well. Hopefully he's still around.
Yeah, I'm still here. So that's me. I'm Fred. I work with Abs and Shah at Amazon. I've been with Amazon for 21 years. So I have a little bit of background as to how we operate. And I've worked with Enactus for a few years now. And so I really like the program. So anything we can do to help you with your projects, hopefully we can do.
Awesome. Thanks, Fred. So let's do quick fire questions. Caroline's been looking through the chats. Caroline, do you want to throw some questions at us?
Yeah, of course. So I think this is for all of you really, but what made you choose Amazon? And if you can, what is your favorite part of working for Amazon?
I'll kick off. I think so I joined Amazon 4 years ago now. A big part of the appeal was the culture. You know, I met people like Fred and many others, and got a sense of what it's like to work there in the culture. And it is, it's challenging. We're growing a lot. We're inventive, but also very customer focused and responsible. And you know, I really like that. It kind of aligned with the values I sort of picked up and developed through Enactus. But also the opportunities are endless because we have so many different business areas, different departments, different organizations. So I started in Amazon retail. Really simply, my job was to sell TVs in the most basic sense. And since then, I've moved into the entertainment industry, which is a tricky industry to get into without any experience directly in it. But because I was already in Amazon, it was, you know, much simpler for me to make that transition within the organization. And that is common. People will want to try new things, and we're encouraged to, you know, explore those things, and we get support to transfer between Amazon businesses if that's something we want to do. So that's one of the reasons why I joined Amazon. And yeah, I love my job. I think it's really cool to be able to work on some interesting film and TV show campaigns, and then see them on the site, see people enjoying them. So that's me.
Yep. So I mean, I am almost 24, so I'm only a couple of years out of uni, and my entire current working career outside of internships has been at Amazon. Ultimately, I wanted a grad job. I knew that I was someone that wanted to get straight into work, get 5 to 10 years experience, and then start my own business. And what better than one of the biggest businesses in the world? Ultimately, I wanted somewhere that I could still work with Enactus. I wanted to still be able to do some sort of social good, and for me, that was either going to be at an active sponsor or at a charity. So those are the kinds of things I was applying for. I also knew that realistically, I was coming from a business degree, and so the world was kind of my oyster in terms of I didn't specify my modules. I chose a variety of finance, marketing, sustainability, operations modules outside of my core because I wanted to keep everything as broad as possible. So when it came to applying, I had options, and I wanted to pick somewhere where, like Abs said, you can move around and move industries within one entire company. So that was kind of why I ended up at Amazon. I wanted somewhere where I had the opportunity to grow and also have a job.
I mean, I won't go back to why I joined Amazon, given that was 21 years ago, and it wasn't really a choice. It was like through an opportunity. Friend, you know, asked me if I wanted to work for this company, which I knew nothing about because I had not really launched in France. But in terms of what I really like about Amazon is that flexibility of, you know, if you want to do something else, or if you have other goals in terms of what you really want to do, you can actually find your way there, right? Because as a company, there's always so many jobs open that moving teams or moving industry is never going to really be a problem. And it's really just a case of, you know, is it what you want? kind of conversation. That being said, in 21 years, I haven't really moved that much. And that's probably because as an accountant, it's almost like a specialty itself. And so you don't necessarily need to move, but the fact that you can is a big deal. But what I really like is what you can do outside of your day job, right? So being involved with affinity groups, doing things like this, as part of my work, it's not in my job description, but we encourage people to just find what they want to be doing outside of their day-to-day job, and we make sure that they can take the time to do that. So that's probably one of the things I would say in terms of what I like.
Thank you. There's some really great points. I think a lot of the questions are really geared towards internship and graduate opportunities, Abs. And I wondered if you could just kind of go over the process of where to find that information.
Yeah, really simply, it's if you go to the Amazon.jobs site, as soon as you land on there, there's a section opportunities for students built just for you. So go on there. Throughout the year, we have a range of opportunities ranging from 12-week internships to longer, 6 to 12 months, depending on the function, graduate roles, of course, and we have apprenticeships as well. So we recently hired an apprenticeship into our team. So opportunities at all different levels. So yeah, I'd say that's the best place to go for the latest information, just because we're opening new jobs all the time and the deadlines are different for each. So I'd go there for that information.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I think that might have answered a lot. Sorry, Shah, to cut you off.
I was just going to say, I know that there was a question that was specifically around areas of the country. It's but when you are checking, it's worth noting that obviously there's a variety of functions you can be applying for specifically as a graduate, and one of those is operations. So if you wanted to potentially be an area manager, we have, I think, 4, maybe 6 fulfillment centres around the Birmingham area, Coventry as well. So there's lots around there if you're wanting to stay near home / local to uni. Yeah, just keep checking out the jobs page. It will specify. And if it doesn't within the application, I mean, if you have a preference, always state it. Say that you want to stay in that Birmingham area.
Yeah, in terms of main offices, we've got the head office in London by Shoreditch, which is a really cool place. We've got a fairly new office in Manchester as well. So lots of exciting roles there. And obviously we are in countries across the world.
Great, thank you. I think that's everything that we've got time for, but thank you so much for the session. I think it's been really insightful for students, and I can see lots happening in the chat about LinkedIn profiles going in there. So I'm glad that it's really hit home. But Abs, I'll just pass back to you really for the final words.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, hopefully we could give you some useful insights and tips that will that you can take forward. So I hope you found the session valuable. Caroline will share the information and the slides. Do send any feedback you do have. Even if it wasn't helpful, some constructive criticism is always welcome. And of course, if you've got further questions, we'll try and field as many as we can via Caroline, but feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and do check out our website. But thank you very much for the time. So have a good evening, everyone.